In March 1929, a group of rich female debutantes joined the annual Easter Sunday parade in New York City. And what they did shocked the nation. In one beautifully orchestrated moment, they revealed cigarettes hidden under their clothes, lit them up, and started smoking, walking down the street for all to see, including the press. You see, women at the turn of the 20th century did not smoke cigarettes in public. This was something only men, and the women that were paid to sleep with men, could do. And so you can only imagine the headlines the next day. But it's not what you think. Newspapers across the country called these women powerful, independent suffragettes. And they weren't just smoking cigarettes. They were lighting torches of freedom. See, there was a marketer behind this. There's always a marketer behind these things. His name was Edward Bernays, and he was ready before the parade telling reporters what was going to happen and arming them with that phrase, torches of freedom. And although Edward Bernays is likely not a name that you may have heard before, as a consumer in the 21st century, he has impacted your life and the way that you live it. Bernays was an American propagandist, and after World War I, companies had to do something with all of the goods they were mass producing. And so they hired Edward Bernays to create for them a new type of consumer. In this case, the president of the American Tobacco Corporation approached Bernays with a problem. He said, only half of my market is smoking, the men. And so Bernays, to sell more cigarettes, had to create a new type of female, one who wasn't afraid of smoking in public. And so with a single act of mass manipulation, Edward Bernays linked the cigarette to a sense of independence and power, and things that females wanted at that time, and they had just earned the right to vote. And in doing so, created an entirely new market for cigarettes with a single marketing stunt. It was so successful that in the year following this act, sales of cigarettes to women rose to $32 million. And Bernays went on to repeat this model with other clients, banks, clothing brands, celebrities, and create a kind of framework for marketing that we're stuck with today. He is the reason that we have product placement in movies. He's the reason that celebrities wear designer brands when they're on the red carpet. It's because of Bernays that when you read a magazine, the things you see in that magazine can be bought at the department store down the street. He's the reason bacon and bananas ever made their way into an all-American diet, and why cars are considered a symbol of man's sexuality. Bernays essentially orchestrated this world in which we need to buy certain types of things in order to be certain types of people, a world that uses marketing to create the kind of consumer that fits our products. It's product-centric marketing. And you should know something about Edward Bernays. He was an awkward guy. He couldn't actually look you in the eye. He saw people not as individuals, but as groups, easily manipulated masses. And his uncle was Sigmund Freud, the psychoanalyst who thought people were driven by primal instincts and incapable of making their own decisions. And so for Edward Bernays, marketing was just another application of propaganda, mass consumer persuasion. He's famous for saying that if you can use propaganda in times of war, well, you can use it in peace. But the irony here is that Edward Bernays not only inspired what we know today to be marketing, he was the inspiration for Hitler's minister of propaganda. They all saw people as faceless, anonymous masses, easily forged into one predefined way of thinking, feeling, and acting, and unfortunately, we have not been able to evolve from this mindset as marketers. Nearly 100 years later, we spend hundreds of billions of dollars annually trying to create the kinds of consumers that fit our products. Marketing has become a pervasive force in our society. It is everything, it is everywhere. It exposes each of us to between 500 and 3,000 marketing messages every single day. And the response of the marketing industry, naturally, has been more marketing. Put it in more places, get it to more people. And that model is broken. It's fundamentally flawed. People don't trust companies. We tune out irrelevant marketing. We ignore the ads, skip the commercials. You are more likely to survive a plane crash, get into Harvard, or win the lottery than you are to click on a banner ad. we have failed you as marketers because we are the center of our own universe. We become obsessive about the products and the solutions that we build and provide, and we forget who it's intended for. We think we know everything about our buyers, and really, we know nothing at all. When was the last time you interacted with a company and you felt like, man, these guys really get me? I mean, it's rare if it ever happens. When it does, it's like magic. It's like you found a unicorn or something. And you become loyal to that brand because they have taken the time to understand who you are and deliver the kind of experience that fits you. That's it. That's the point. That is the opportunity. And I recently learned that the word company actually comes from the idea of breaking bread together. Isn't that an incredible thing? Such a personal, such a human act. Great marketing is personal. It is human. It speaks to you in your language. It uses your language and your voice and reflects your priorities and your values. It respects you. It doesn't try to make you feel like you're not good enough. It speaks to your heart and your mind, not your vanity and not your ego. And nearly a decade in this industry has taught me that this is the only way forward for marketers. If we have any hope of earning or deserving the attention of our overwhelmed customers, we can't buy it. We have to be willing to demonstrate that we understand who they are. And this new model is actually quite simple. It puts the customer at the forefront of our strategy. It's a customer-centric approach, not a product-centric approach. And Edward Bernays would be terrified of this new model because it requires something that he just did not have: empathy. The ability to see the world through the eyes of somebody else. Empathy is literally hardwired into all of us, unless you're a sociopath, in which case, please don't get into marketing. Empathy is the most important marketing trait in 2015. In this brave new world, filled with data, filled with technology, we are presented with the greatest opportunity to reinvent marketing since the advent of the billboard, a chance to recover and redeem ourselves from nearly 100 years of obnoxious behavior. Look, marketing was never supposed to be this way. And so my question is this: what if the next 100 years of marketing were customer-centric, human-centric? Thank you.